Do you often catch yourself going through the same negative thoughts over and over again? Have you been going through multiple sleepless nights when you can't sleep, when you're thinking about the past, thinking what happens, going through the same negative thoughts, the same negative patterns, and you've been thinking that there was something wrong with you? And you just started searching online, and the advice that people gave you didn't help. And so in this video, I'd like to talk about how to improve your mental health, how to get rid of those negative thoughts that you've been having for so long. It's time to start over. It's time to start a new life, and it's time to get rid of those negative thoughts and become your new self. So how can you improve your mental health? In this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 tips that will help you to improve your mental health and overcome your mental health problems. Those tips are scientifically proven. I use them myself. I overcame and still overcoming so many mental health problems. And although I'm not perfect, I'm not a guru on this topic, but in this video I'd like to share with you my personal experience and also facts which are based in science. So the very first tip that I'd like to talk about here is understanding what is repetitive negative thoughts and how they happen, the pattern with which they happen. So there are scientific studies that prove that RNT are more frequent in the evening and at late night. So one of the very first methods that you can do, one of the very first steps that you can do to improve your mental health and get rid of those repetitive negative thoughts, at least partially, is to go to sleep earlier. You probably went through many sleepless nights till 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, thinking and looping and over again, thinking about what happened in the past, thinking about how bad your life is. And one of the most important tips when it comes to improving your mental health is go to sleep earlier. RNT has proven to be much more frequent at night, at late night, at 12, 1, 2 a.m. Go to sleep earlier and you will find yourself in a better mental health. This is one of the best tips. It's a proven science, basically. So you should understand, you should proactively understand how those repetitive negative patterns work, repetitive negative thoughts, when do they come up, and you should be proactive about it, and you should just go to sleep before they come to you. This is the number 1 tip. So the second tip that I would like to talk about here is writing down your negative thoughts. Write them down for hours every single day. It will help you. So there are so many studies that show that if people go through some negative experience, if they have some negative thoughts, one of the best ways to release themselves from those negative thoughts and one of the best ways to overcome negative experience is to share it with other people. It actually proved to be so much more effective. One of the other methods to do so, it's also really effective, is to write those things down. Write things down. If you have some bad situation happening to you, write it down, analyze it, and find solutions to it. Find out solutions, find out some positive aspects. Writing your negative experiences down is effective in terms of releasing yourself from negative thoughts, negative patterns, and improving your mental health. Write things down. It's a proven science. And the tip number 3, the most important one, is change your environment. Change your environment. You are your environment. Probably you're in a toxic environment, probably you're working in a toxic company, or you live in the country that you don't like, or you have friends that you don't like. You know, there is a saying which goes like, you're the average of 5 people you hang out with the most, you spend time with the most. So change your environment first, go traveling, study a foreign language, go to different countries. Only by changing your environment, you can find out your internal problems and you can solve them. You cannot just think them through. You cannot just be thinking over and over again. You should actively and proactively change yourself. Go to different places, change your social circle. In fact, my personal story goes like this. I grew up in Russia and I just didn't like living there. I just didn't like my hometown. I thought that people there were negative. I thought that it was really dark, really dense environment. People were not smiling at all, and people were not polite. I didn't like how people act. I didn't like the environment, the atmosphere, and so I decided that I should learn at least any foreign language to just get out of that environment. I started traveling. I started talking to different people. I found out about different cultures. And what happened to me was that while learning a foreign language and while traveling, I noticed some brain changes happening to me. I noticed that my mental health started improving because all of a sudden I went out of that small bubble which was pressuring me down. I literally got out of that small, toxic, negative bubble and I started traveling. I started learning foreign languages. And since I don't come from rich parents, my parents couldn't pay for me studying abroad or for me traveling. I found out how to earn money myself. I found out how to travel cheaper. I found out how to go to different countries without paying for it. I found out how to win different scholarships at different universities. And then I went to China, won a scholarship for 3 years. I studied there, and I learned English, I learned Chinese, I learned Korean. Now I'm learning Japanese. And so basically, I could speak 5 languages when I was 26 years old, and I completely changed my life. Try to rewire your brain by changing your environment and changing your thought patterns. And this would be the tip number 4. Learn a foreign language. Change your mind, rewire your brain, rewire your thought patterns. If you master any foreign language on a fluent/native level, which takes a lot of time, but it's possible to actually do it during a year. If you master any foreign language on a conversational or fluent level, it literally rewires your brain. There are so many scientific studies. They prove that when a person starts learning a foreign language, all of a sudden there are some brain changes that happen. The area which is responsible for learning a foreign language, it increases in size. So basically, it's scientifically proven that your brain changes. And what started happening to me? So when I started learning English, when I mastered English on a fluent level, and when I mastered Chinese on a fluent level, I started catching myself literally thinking in those languages. The same happened with Korean language. I just started catching myself thinking in those languages. And so right now, if you ask me, I'm Russian, but I think in multiple languages. It literally rewired my brain. And with those language changes, your behavior changes as well, because you can't just master a language and talk to people from different culture. You know, you can't just master a language and talk to people from different culture in this language. You literally change. It's like being reborn. It's like a rebirth. You're being born again, because the things that you would say in this language, the actions that you would do in this language, in this particular culture, they wouldn't make sense in your culture. Every culture is different. You know, there are some cultures where people smile all the time. You know, as soon as I went abroad, because I'm from Russia, as soon as I went abroad, I just noticed, wow, people smile so much. And so guess what? I started smiling. When I was in Russia, when I was 100% Russian, when I couldn't even speak English, I couldn't even smile that much. I went down and I couldn't smile. You know, it's like if you smile at people, they think that you're weird or something. But if you go abroad, if you go to other countries, if you travel, all of a sudden it becomes a normal thing. And so, of course, I changed. Of course, my mental health improved so much. Neuroplasticity, mental health, IQ, EQ, all of those things increase with mastering a foreign language. Most of the people right now, because most of the people, they don't have a system, they don't know how to learn a foreign language quicker, so they spend literally years on it. I've been learning languages for 11 years, and during those 11 years, again, when I was 26 years old, I could already speak 5 languages, basically one of the hardest languages in the world. Basically, I developed a system which helps people from 6 countries, which helps people to master pretty much any language, be it European or Asian language, on a conversational or fluent level in just a few months. If you're interested in my system, you can register for a free call with me. If there are spots left, I'll jump on the call and I will share with you my system, my personal advice, how learning languages can improve your mental health, can help you travel the world, change your brain, rewire your brain, and basically improve your life. Most of my clients on my programs who learn foreign languages, most of them have just the same reason. They just want to get out of their country. They just want to go abroad and live in the culture that they like. What is the culture you're interested in? What is the country you've always wanted to go to? And what is the place you'd like to live in? Leave comments down below. Tell me, share with me your thoughts on it. And as for me, I've been traveling around Asia. I've been living in Asia for the past 4 years. I lived in China, in Korea, and I traveled to Japan multiple times. And I found out Asian culture to be quite interesting, and the Asian culture suits me really well. Some people like, let's say, South American countries, some people like European countries. So what is the country, what is the place you'd like to go to, and how do you want to change your environment? Change your brain, rewire your thinking patterns, use all those tips that I shared with you in this video. Let me know how it works for you. I hope that this video is helpful for you, and as always, until next time.